This is Mark Harrington from markharrington.com. This is a quick review of a forex trading system called the Dynamic Cash Tracker. It's being given away as part of a new forex launch by an outfit called Tradeology. Now, in the last few days, I have tested the tool out to see how easy it is to use and how practical it is for a newbie to actually use it. I've been trading forex for quite some time now, and I'm accomplished in understanding the tools, understanding the techniques, understanding the technologies. But I just wanted to put it through its paces and to see what it is all about. Now, so this is the Tradeology page. And I've just scrolled down and I've got some live trades and a trading statement which shows amazing products. And this is the download for the Dynamic Cash Tracker, which is it's a set of indicators that work on the MT4, the Metatrader 4 trading platform. And I received also today this new book called The Tips and Tricks to Making a Fortune Trading Forex. I hate that title because the tips and tricks about making some money on Forex is probably a better word. But I'm going to use the last pages of that book as a framework for thinking about how to review the Dynamic Cash Tracker. So right at the end of the book, so you'll see I'm on page 44 or 46. It says this is what you need to be successful for forex trading. You need a system that'll tell you what your entries are, tell you where to put your stop losses are, tell you how you will move your stop loss as price moves in the direction you want, how you will set profit targets. If you're going to use targets, how will you decide what they're going to be, which markets you will not trade in, what time of day to trade, what time frames that work best. So you're going to work daily, hourly, 4 hourly, and how do you use higher time frames to manage your assessments of lower time frames, and I'll do that example. And will you check an economic calendar before you trade? Now I'm going to do this by example. Now I do have a trading strategy which is based on trend trading principles. So I'm going to step across to a chart, and this is a daily chart. It's Euro US dollars, and we can see that there is a trend here. Part of my trading system is I look for two things. I look for these moving averages, so the yellow line, blue line, and the red line. They need to be stacked in the right order. So for an uptrend, they need to be stacked the way they are. For a downtrend, they need to be stacked in the opposite direction. I then look for the color of the last bar, and given this is now Sunday, this is Friday's bar, the market is closed, and I want a bar to be in the same direction as the trend. So the color of the bar, you'll notice these bars are green and red. So the red bar says there were more sellers than buyers, and so on a day where markets are going on a trend where markets are going up, I'm only interested in trading the day after where there were more buyers than sellers. So I'm going to ignore this red bar because it is a seller's bar. So if we step down to the pound US dollar, we'd see we've got its uptrend and we have a red bar. US dollar yen, it's a downtrend, but we have a green bar. US dollar Swiss, it's a downtrend, but we have a green bar. I want a red bar. The US dollar Canadian, so we've got a downtrend. This is a very extended move, but we have a red bar. So that is my first candidate for looking at a trade entry. So now I'm going to use the system, the Dynamic Cash Tracker system, to identify if there are trade opportunities for me on Tuesday, or at least on Monday, for this. So I'm going to pop up my trading platform, and I've got 4 charts on here. I've got 2 daily charts, but the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick US Canadian dollar into each one of them. And I'll explain what the charts are in a little while. So the first chart is a daily chart with nothing on it. So that is exactly the same as the chart I just showed you. You can see there is clearly a downtrend. Now the chart on the left here, it has, you can see it's got a red line on it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this line on. This is just a moving average line. So I'm going to stick this line on the chart that's in the middle. So it's an indicator, it's a trend indicator, it's a moving average, which is this one here. I'm just going to drag it across. I'm going to choose the period. I want 50 days and I want a simple moving average. I'm going to make it blue. I prefer to make it red. There's a reason for that, is 50-day moving average is always red. So we can see here that this chart has been flat for a while and it is now trending down. So we are interested in this trade. Now the question is, how do these indicators work and how easy is the system to use? So I'm going to step out of there. I'm going to go down into, we're going to use the moving average trading system. Now this is a little more complicated. So what we have, so that 50 moving average, that's this one here. That's the one that I have just put on my chart. What the system does also is it puts two other moving averages. There's a 26 days, which is an exponential moving average, and a 12-day. It draws both in, and it draws a colored band in between the two lines. And the signaling system is you'll notice that this shorter one changes color every now and then. So it goes from green. So the trade entry signal is when this goes from green to red is when we enter. So the bar that it changes from green to red is when we look at entering a trade. So this, on this particular case, we would look at entering below this bar and then decide where the stop loss is going to be. But that is the principle. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to stick those things onto the charts. So if we go onto here, we have on the left hand side, we'll see there are actually two indicators that are provided. It's Marco color crossover and Marco MA2 color, or we can just put a template on the chart. So I'm just going to load the template on the chart. So we just go to templates, we'll load the template, and I'm using the MATS2 system. It's already on the chart, but I'll pop it on there. And now that I don't need this stuff here, I'm going to get rid of these windows so you can see all four windows. Because part of what I'm going to do is to explore how this tool helps you over different time frames. So this is just the basic chart with that moving average on it. You can see it's the same shape as this one here. This one here, you can see it changes in color. So at one point it's starting to trend upwards, but we're interested in here. Now we're not getting a signal here on the daily. Or well, let's put MATS2 onto this thing. So template MATS2 onto the daily. So as we said, actually, as a few days ago, we actually did get a signal here to go short. So when it painted from green to red is a signal to go short. So we'll enter below the bar that painted it green, stick the stop loss above there and run down there. But that's not going to help us today. So we can see here on the daily that there was a signal over here. And we can see also, so that was somewhere, the date here is it's the 12th of November. And we actually see on the 4-hourly chart, there was a repainting of this on the 26th of November, but we've not had one since. And then on the 1-hour chart, we can see there was a repainting over here on the 3rd of December, so literally a couple of days ago. So part of the system is we've identified, we're interested in the downtrend. We've looked for signals over here on the daily. We've looked for signals on the 4-hourly, and we've looked for signals on the 1-hour chart. Now I'm going to put in another currency pair, which was the next of my candidates that I'd found. So the one I'm looking for is euro yen. So euro yen, we're starting to see that it's now trending upwards, and I've got a green bar on the daily. I'm going to pop that up over there. And just basically what we'll see, all that's changing here is the euro yen is replacing the the US dollar Canadian. So we're somewhat interested in this because we've got an uptrend and we've got a buyer bar day on Friday for Monday. The dynamic cash tracker indicators are proving that we are definitely in an uptrend situation. We can see on the 4-hourly chart that there was a signal here where the red changed to green. So basically what we do is the bar that painted it green, we would enter above that bar and put the stop loss behind this bar and then run. Given the size of this, if you're looking at a risk return of 1 to 1, we can see quite easily, and let's just draw some lines. So we'll put the stop loss, say 5 pips behind there. We're entering 2 pips above there. Let's make that a little bit closer. So we'll make something like 5 there, 2 there, and so if that is the size of our margin, we can see that we're comfortably reaching it there, somewhere there, and may even run further than that if we exited at that point. So there was a signal there not that long ago. If we look at the 1-hour chart, the last painted line on the 1-hour chart was a red bar. So we're going to sit and watch this chart, waiting for price to do this. And as soon as that paints green, we can consider entering the trade on a 1-hour. The principle then would be, depending which bar it is, the stop loss would go in here, entry would be here somewhere, and we would be looking at a ratio of 1 to 1, which would take us somewhere up there. Now, of course, there are reasons to not take a trade. I'm not going to go into that now, because what the system is helping us to do is to identify signals, identify the trends on the daily, identify signals on the lower time frames of 4-hour or a 1-hour, and we could change this to a 30-minute if we wanted to trade with that short a time frame. Now, I did run a live video on Friday with the pound US dollar. I'm going to slot that in now to see one of the challenges that I have with this process of repainting. My process will be as I go down, and as part of my scanning process, we'll go and look and say, was pound US dollar worth trading? So yes, the moving averages are stacked the right way. Yesterday was a green bar, so we go back to here, and I need to put the market watch in here, and we'll just drag pound US dollar onto these charts and have a look and see what it does. So we can see the trend is upwards. On the 4-hour, we've got no signals here, and there's a long signal here on the 1-hour. So this bar here, so if we entered above here, there's a possibility of a trade. The challenge is that so it's been green for a while, and we've basically got to look for the next bar to print, because it's currently still red, and it's currently 20 to 8 London time. It's 20 to 8 London time, so in due course we will get this bar will paint in another 20 minutes time, and then we'll decide whether we're going to enter. We've actually just seen that it's actually painted green. It painted green over here based on this level. Now that is a very confusing thing for me to see, because I was not expecting it to paint back 2 bars. It should only paint back 1 bar, so there's something not quite right. So what it's suggesting to me is that the entry point for a trade is actually above this bar here, and which is where this price has just dropped below this bar. That's why we got a repainted green. So you could enter at market here. I'd be inclined not to do that, because this thing here might be a false break, and price might want to do that. Anyway, so that is a quick walkthrough of the tool as best as I understand it, with 1 day's worth of working. It is simple enough to work, but there are a few wrinkles here that I need to understand a little bit better. So we're back at the book, and we've certainly, it tells us where that entries are. Initial stop loss goes behind those swing lows or swing highs. The book, actually, this book tells us about how to trail your stop loss. It also tells you how to set profit targets. You start out with just a one-to-one profit target, and then or a one-to-one on part of your trade, and then let the trade runs. The types of markets you won't trade, it doesn't really talk too much about that. The time of day to trade, the book doesn't talk about that. But basically what I do is I look for when the European markets are open and when the US markets are open. That's an easy time of day to trade because there's volume. The time frames that work the best, I like working from daily down to 4 hourly, not too much on the hourly. I'm looking for signals on 4 hourly because it means I only have to look at the computer every 4 hours. Will I use higher time frames as an assessment tool? I absolutely use daily and 4 hour to decide on direction. And will I check an economic calendar before you trade? Absolutely yes. And the best way to do that, there's a site called Forex Factory. It has a calendar in it. This is the calendar for next week. Let's clear all of this so you can see 7th of December on Monday. The Australian dollar, I've used this filter button over here, and I just picked the orange ones and the red ones. And so on Monday we have the Australian dollar. Tuesday we have a Canadian dollar, which is the PMIs are coming out. This is the Reserve Bank governor is speaking. Then on Wednesday and Thursday is busy. So if that euro yen trade, only you've got to think about this data, and this is by Thursday, and I reckon I'm going to be out of the trades by then anyway. So the answer is I'm absolutely using that. So if we go back to the Tradeology page, this is where we were. We were talking about the dynamic cash tracker, which looks like a simple enough system if you know enough about how to use MT4. And you've got the disciplines for forex trading. It could certainly be a helpful tool. It is a simple set of indicators that you can turn into a trading in the box, which is what this book talks about, is how to create a disciplined, structured approach. So I'm going to click on this thing here. So if we go back to the top of the page, so what we get is that we can download the dynamic cash tracker, we download the tips and tricks book, and all you've got to do is pop in your email and then explore what the Tradeology's offer is beyond the free system. But quite frankly, I like the free system. I appreciate your time, and I wish you every success in thinking forex.